Hello everyone! You might be asking, why are you doing a top 13 Super Nintendo video game soundtracks list? Well, that's a very good question, random disembodied audience voice. I am because everyone's done these lists, and I'm just curious how difficult they are actually to make myself. Why Super Nintendo soundtracks? Because it's my favorite system of all time, and a regular Nintendo list might go Mega Man, Castlevania, DuckTales, and Mega Man. There you go, there's your list. So why top 13? Because that's my favorite number, and it's my list, and I wanted to, so, bugger off. Plus, this is just my opinion, which may differ from yours, so take that however you want it, but here it is. This is the third strongest top 13 Super Nintendo soundtracks.
13.
Now let's start off the list with one of the best fighting games of all time. Now this is a game that has a huge range and variety. It needed such a wide range of variety for character themes. Each one of these themes had to capture the spirit of each of the places of origin, and you cannot forget that legendary Guile theme. Perhaps the tracks may not be as memorable as some. They had to get you amped up to kick the shit out of the opponent, so it just barely sneaks onto the list.
$12.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say that this is the very best Zelda game. Yeah, I know. It's surprising that it's this far down the list, as it has this incredible range of music, going from action to a little bit more peaceful. So many original songs that would go on to become staples in the series, along with a lot of the great tracks from the original game. All Zelda games have incredible music, which is why it was so hard to put this one so far down the list. But this was before Gerudo Valley theme when Ocarina of Time came out, but this is still pretty damn good.
$11.
Now this is a game that's music was designed to get you pumped up. Racing games inherently rely so much on its music in order to set the tone for each of its tracks, and this game has several great ones, like the themes for Big Blue, Mute City, and even its intro theme. It's one of the earliest titles for the Super Nintendo, and while it's not even one of my favorite racing games on the system, each of its tracks are consistently good and one of the best reasons to play.
$10.
A game that slaps you right in the face with its atmosphere right when you turn it on. This is not a soundtrack that you're going to be humming or whistling along with. It is there to make you feel the same dread and uneasiness as Samus. It wraps you up in its environment on this alien planet, leaving you not knowing what to expect next. It is not on this list for being memorable, but for being the perfect fit for the entire tone of this dark game.
$9.
There are so many great Mario games on the Super Nintendo, between Super Mario World, Mario Kart, and Super Mario RPG, but the music in this game just makes me happier. music that is light and joyous to listen to through such a kid-friendly game, until it decides to quickly turn to terrifying. God, that scared the shit out of me as a kid, but I absolutely love it. Okay, I promise that my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle obsession is not the only reason that this made it on the list. It is the perfect list of tracks that are so full of energy and excitement that you want to kill just wave after wave of foot soldiers. There are probably thousands of beat-em-up games out there, and this one passes all of them with the amazing tracks, one after another, that makes you want to keep on playing.
Seven.
Castlevania has always had some of the best music, even during the NES days, and it was really hard to choose between this and Dracula X. Both are really, really great. But the atmosphere that this game is able to display, while not on par with Super Metroid, is still extremely impressive. Many original tracks added on to the iconic ones from before, and it makes this one really hard to beat.
Six.
This isn't going to be number one on the best overall Super Nintendo soundtracks, but it would definitely be number one for the most eclectic and most diverse Super Nintendo soundtracks. It can go anywhere from light and fun and it can quickly go to intense and badass. Widely praised now, but growing up, this was a game nobody seemed to know about but my family, and it became one of my favorite games. I even named my channel after it. I am always going to have an emotional connection with this game and its music, and that's what great video game soundtracks should be able to do.
Five.
Okay, now we are getting to the serious part of the list. The best of the best, as many people will be upset that I didn't put this one as number one. From each of the characters' themes, to the intense battle music, to Robo's theme sounding like it's never gonna give me up. I honestly cannot blame anyone who thinks this is the best game and the best soundtrack on the Super Nintendo. While it's not number one on my list, there's no question that it's a good place to start off my top 5.
Four.
The game that my friend and I played for thousands of hours growing up, and this is truly the game that made me a lover of video games, and the music is a large reason for that. One of the first games that I could consider music to be art, ranging from peaceful town music to whimsical to something more dark and intimidating. Almost every song in this game triggers a different set of memories for me. This may just be a good role-playing game, but it is easily the best multiplayer role-playing game experience of all time.
Three!
Mega Man has a long history of having some of the best video game music. The NES games set such a high bar that they knew they had to nail it with the soundtrack for the first game in the Mega Man X series. While it doesn't have the same range of some of these other games, every single track rocks so hard that it's gonna rock your dick off. Listen to that, that's crazy! The guitars, the synth sounds used are incredible, and it's really hard to pick a track that is legitimately the best one in the game. No soundtrack gets you as pumped up while listening to it and makes you want to keep on playing.
Two!
This one was a tough one to pick, because all of the Donkey Kong Country games on the Super Nintendo have incredible music. The first one has a real serene track like aquatic ambience, but this sequel can match it with tracks like Forced Interlude. This is yet another soundtrack with a huge range of atmospheric and calming to intense and pulse racing. Masterpieces like the Sticker Brush Symphony, it should be no surprise that the best game of the trilogy ends up having the best music as well. This is so good, it almost is the best Super Nintendo soundtrack there is. Almost.
Number one!
I love the music in this game so much. It is no secret that the Final Fantasy games have always had some of the best music in all of video games. Nobuo Uematsu created the most memorable pieces for many of these games. I think there's no question that this is his masterpiece. Some of the most iconic music in my whole life comes from this game, from emotional and being emblematic of each and every character to the most epic and badass. It featured an entire goddamn opera into the soundtrack. They knew how ambitious they were being with this game, and I can safely say that they succeeded in every way possible. So that's it. Trying to rank these in order is like trying to choose which of your children you love the most, but it's no surprise that many of my favorite games also feature some of the best music. That just goes to show how important music is to the art of video games. There were a lot of other games considered, but let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, bye-bye.